This Halloween, the pretty girl next door wants to invite you in for a treat. Or a trick. Witch Tales.
Hello, my missing ingredient.
Witch Tales. See it with someone who doesn't bite. Much.
The real question is this: are comic books good or are they not good?
Haunted Thrills.
I was fascinated with pre-code horror. One of the first major collections I bought was the Spokane collection, which had an incredible array of pre-code horror comic books.
Of course, doing the horror stories was a lot of fun. You could imagine how much fun it was to put these stories together, and you could do them any way you wanted.
I had no guidelines at all or restrictions. They would say to me, Ray, we're doing eerie comics. Here are the stories that are going in there. I'd look through them and I'd take things that I thought would illustrate them.
Stan looked at the letter and he says, I said, Mr. Lee, would you like to look at some of my work? He says, no, Jack says you're a good artist. He says, here, I want this back in a week.
The countdown to terror has begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely.
First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young. And not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit, I don't want to get ducted in anal.
This film is not rated.
Shit, I don't want to get ducted in anal probe. Good evening, fiends and friends, and welcome to Horror Mike's Friday Night Flicks. And of course, in the last week and a half, a lot of freaking flicks have been added to both TUBI and KANOPY, and we're going to be taking a look at those tonight. But first, we're going to start off with Bud's art books, because he has added some sweet titles that I think that you're going to dig the shit out of. Okay? But first, without further ado, let's head on over to the comments. And let's see who's hanging out, shall we? Oh my God. Good Lord, son of a bitch. We got a whole load here tonight, folks. Eric is on the scene. Hello, Eric. Good God, man. Chad M is here. Jacob is here. Hello, Jacob. How you doing? Werewolf by lunchtime has turned into apparently kitty by lunchtime. He keeps changing on us. Well, that is part of the process, indeed. Yeah. Okay. Well, Fireball Comics is on the scene. Hello, Fireball Comics. How are you doing? Good God. Eric, what is Horror Mike scaring up for us today? Well, it's a few scary things. A few scary things, Eric. Shadowhawk is on the scene. Hello, Shadowhawk Talks in the house. Carrie is here. Hello, Carrie. How you doing? Good to see you. And Werewolf says, I had nothing to watch with my breakfast last Saturday morning. That must have been a tragedy, Werewolf, or Kitty by lunchtime, I should say. But you'll be happy to know, Werewolf, that I was dreadfully fucking sick. So that was my excuse. I had to go to the doctor's. So maybe that kind of works that out for you. In any case, let's take a look. Eric says, hit that like button as if it owed you money. Yeah, right. How about buy one of my films? And as you saw in the opening trailers, various films of mine, which you can purchase there. I've just placed in the chat my URL, horroranthologymovies.com. Oh, wait a second. Werewolf says, that's Rico, my neighbor's cat. Okay. That is interesting. I'm not quite sure what the hell. But in any case, freaks and geeks and people of the night, check it out. Now, as we always do, we begin with Bud's art books because they're always adding something. If you guys aren't familiar with Bud's art books by now, which you should be, I'm just going to drop that link in the chat. But in any case, he sells a lot of groovy books, man. Real groovy. Now this one is no except. There's several here that I think you may find interesting. Librorum Ridiculorum, Compendium of Bizarre Books. How does that strike you? By Brian Lake, a celebration of all weird and wonderful books to be found in an antiquarian bookshop. Books have the power to enrich the soul, to enliven the senses, to expand our horizons, and others are simply mad. Okay. And that's what we're talking about right here. This is brand new from HarperCollins, believe it or not, for 2023. It's $16.99. I wonder what the page count. It's 128 pages, so it's a little light on the page count. Oops. There we go. Razor's Edge. Budroot cover. Okay, now we've got a Budroot cover, which it's another. I mean, look, I'm not going to say anything. It's a Budroot cover. It could be a bait and switch. You got your nice Budroot cover. I don't know about the art on the inside, but the cover's pretty snacky. You've got your bubble butt babes here. Got your Kind of cute little Dobermans hanging around. Oh, yeah, it is just a comic book. 24 pages, $12. Good Lord. Okay. Interesting, though. Interesting. What the fuck? Okay, now this is not new. This is Creepy Archives Volume 1. I have this. I've had it for years. I guess they've decided to reprint. Yes, they have. Oh, it's a paperback format. Wow. You know, you might be able to get, well, I don't know, maybe not. For $22, maybe for $30, you might be able to get the hardcover version. This is an excellent freaking volume. Of course, it is volume 1 that collects creepy 1 through 5. But it's good to see they've got it on paperback, though. That's nice. Good Lord. And they got a little comics review. Oh, yeah. Comics review for June of 2023 with some stuff by Roy Thomas. As I see, covered by Art Sansom. Interesting. I don't know. It's another one that's a little more, yeah, here's a couple of them that I thought were much more interesting. Cliffhanger, the cinematic superheroes of the serials, 1941 to 1952. Highly recommended. Historian Christopher Irving explores the origins of first on-screen superheroes and the comic creators and filmmakers who brought them to life in the early days of the film serial. Superman, Captain America, Spy Smasher, Captain Marvel. That's pretty good. I do love the cover. It's hilarious. Captain Marvel there. Of course, Captain America. Jungle action, folks, right there. Very cool. $36.95. Take a look at the 160 pages. Shit's just getting more expensive, folks. What can be said? Of course, there's always your value added alter ego magazine. If you haven't gotten any of these issues, what the hell are you doing with your life? Okay. Alter ego is one of the greatest. And it's $10.95. Highly recommended. This is brand new, edited by Roy Thomas. No shit. Where the fuck is my... Oh, there it is. Well, maybe I should do that. Oh, maybe that is good. Think about that. All right. Whatever. Now let's take a look. Yeah. Plus Mr. Monster's Comic Crypt by Michael T. Gilbert. 2023 from Tomorrow's right here, folks. $10.95. Let's take a look at there. They got a few images. Ooh, nice. Forbidden Worlds. Now, this is a little postcode right here. Probably 56, 57, somewhere in there. But that's still a nice one. And the cartoon. This guy's got this woman in the bedroom at a party. And she says, "What do you mean I remind you of your wife? You son of a bitch, I am your wife." Ah! Pretty hilarious. Okay. And Wiz Comics. Now, this is a classic cover right here. Oh, my God. For October. That is just beautiful. It's the special spook edition, folks, featuring Captain Marvel. The Haunted Halloween Hotel is what we're talking about here. That is just beautiful. Very cool. Alter ego. Alex Ross Marvel mural. It's the 2024 6-foot calendar. Folds out into a 6-footer for fans of Alex Ross. You may want to check that out. Richard Corbin. This is recent. Murky Worlds. I think reprinted again in one volume. That's pretty cool. Blab Volume 1. Not very familiar with it. That's about it. But a couple of good ones from Bud's art books. I was rather, oops. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I was rather impressed with, I mean, not a hell of a lot, but I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. That's not too bad. All right. Now we are going to go directly to Kanopy. They don't have a lot, but they do have a few new tasty selections, folks, that you might be interested in that TUBI does not have. Okay, this is the key factor here. Michael Taylor's on the scene. I love the Golden Age Captain Marvel. Well, there you go. Michael Taylor, it is part of that alter ego. New issue right there for you. But check this out, folks. This is Kanopy. And let me start at the starting point, okay? Because as you recall, we left off with Crown Vic and Dave Stevens, Drawn to Perfection, which, by the way, of course, if you haven't seen it, it's 90% a great documentary, 10% a little bit crap because they left out a couple of key things that I still don't understand why they did, but they did. But still, it's well worth watching. Dave Stevens, Drawn to Perfection, now on Kanopy. And once again, Kanopy is free. It is commercial free as well. There are no ads. You just watch the movies commercial free for free. The thing is, you have to have a library card, and your library has to be doing business with Kanopy. In other words, they have to have some kind of a link with Kanopy. So you go on to kanopy.com with your library card number. You insert that number, and if your library is connected to Kanopy, you're in. You are a member of Kanopy, and they give you 8 credits a month. So that is 8 commercial-free films every month. Okay, it doesn't sound like a lot, but they do get some first-run films. Okay, and stuff that TUBI does not have. That is the simple fact of it. So in any case, yeah, The Human Stain, Nicole Kidman, Anthony Hopkins, interesting flick. Watched that, I don't know, a week ago or so. Have not seen this one, Hidden. Pretty bizarre. Alexander Skarsgård is in this. It's I guess what you would call a sci-fi horror thriller. It says Ray and Claire work together with their 7-year-old daughter, Zoe. They're an average American family living in Kingsville, North Carolina, except they have existed in a bomb shelter since escaping a day of devastation that changed everything. So they start hearing noises above. What the hell is it? What's coming for them? All that shit. It's Hidden. Interesting. Now, this one, of course, I've seen, I don't know how many times. Outland. Sean Connery. So freaking great. 1981 film. This was also serialized as a comic book in Heavy Metal magazine. And I believe Jim Steranko did the art on that. Very popular series for Heavy Metal. And so Yeah, this is basically High Noon in space. That's essentially what it is, but it's so well done. Such a great science fiction film. Sean Connery stars as Federal District Marshal William O'Neill, assigned to a mining outpost on the Jovian moon Io. The highly productive I want to say tit, of course, but it's titanium mine. Seems to be the backwater of the universe, but the miners are killing each other in strangely psychotic ways. Now hired assassins are trying to kill O'Neill to bury the secret his investigation has revealed, and there's no one he can call for help in this far end of the solar system. So that's basically it. They're coming after him. It's High Noon in space. It's great. Really well done science fiction film from the 1980s. Of course, there were many of them. 1980s was also at least the early 1980s was landmark for science fiction. No doubt about it. Now, here's one. I wasn't even aware that it existed. I knew about Accident Man. I've seen Accident Man. And it was, and I'm pretty sure it's still on Tubi, the original. This is the follow-up, the sequel called Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday. And this is the last movie of Ray Stevenson. Okay? Now, he did act in 2 more films, but they have not been released. They are supposedly in post-production, but that doesn't mean shit. They may never see the light of day. Who knows with movies? This is, right as of now, the last film that Ray Stevenson acted in. Okay? Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday. And it's pretty fucking hilarious. If you've seen Accident Man, you're going to like Hitman's Holiday. That's all I'm saying. It's not as good as Accident Man, but man, it's got some great sequences. It's hilarious. There are some really funny fucking things, and it's so dark. Like, both of these films are totally dark because Scott Adkins he's really great in these movies, but his character is just relentlessly dark. That's all I can say about it. It's like, when you watch the first movie, you're just like, Jesus Christ, man. It's kind of shocking, actually. But at the same time, it's also really fucking hilarious. That it's ultra violent. These are ultra violent fucking movies. There's no doubt about that. And they take a lot of joy in the ultra violence. So if you're into that shit, and just it's hilarious. It's just funny stuff, man. It really is. It's a good time if you like high octane action, crime, weird. He fights these, just various assassin characters come out of the woodwork. Like there's this clown character that's pretty bizarre, and a few other characters in this one. As I say, it's not quite as good as the first one, but it's still good. And it is Ray Stevenson's last film. You may know Ray Stevenson. He played, I think, the superior Punisher in Punisher Warzone. And I like Thomas Jane. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think Thomas Jane did a good Punisher, but I think Ray Stevenson actually nailed the comic book character better than Thomas Jane. It was written in such a way that it just was more of the comic book character. And Ray Stevenson is freaking fantastic in that. He's what was the one, To Kill an Irishman? God, that's another brutal fucking movie that he was in. He was in Rome. He had a pretty major character in Rome, the series. So he's been around, and unfortunately, he passed away a few weeks ago. So, that's why I'm bringing this up. Primarily, it's Ray Stevenson's last film. So there you go. And believe it or not, they got Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. Yes, that 2017 live action version of the manga. And look, man, I thought it was very entertaining. It's not as good as the animated film. Of course, it's not, because you can do so much more with the animated, film. God, there's no doubt about that. I love that animated flick. That's, for me, that's up there with Akira and films like that. But I still like the live action version of Ghost in the Shell, and I'm definitely going to watch that again. There ain't no doubt about it. This one, folks, it's Willy's Wonderland. Does this ring a bell? Nicolas Cage. God, I've been looking for this freaking movie. 2021. God. And it's here. It's now on Kanopy. It just popped on Kanopy last night. A quiet loner, Nicolas Cage, finds himself stranded in a remote town when his car breaks down. Unable to pay for the repairs he needs, he agrees to spend the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland, an abandoned family fun center. But this Wonderland has a dark secret that the janitor is about to discover. He soon finds himself trapped inside Willy's and locked in an epic battle with the possessed animatronic mascots that roam the halls. To survive, he must fight his way through each one of them. Now, that's a fucking movie premise, folks. And with Nicolas Cage fighting animatronic creatures, from a theme park. Jesus, Willy's Wonderland right here. Good Lord. And it's on Kanopy. It is not on Tubi. Okay. Pumpkinhead, in my top 20 horror films of all time. They've just added it to Kanopy. This is the original with Lance Henriksen, who should have won a fucking Oscar for his performance. Of course, unfortunately, these films are overlooked by the fucking pillow-biting Oscar freaks. So you'll never see that. But in any case, Pumpkinhead 1988. You know the story, right? Ed Harley, Lance Henriksen. God, a tale of revenge that it's just so well done. And, of course, the creature, the special effects in this film are mind-boggling to this day. It's real, folks. It ain't no fucking CGI bullshit. This is the real deal, all right? Real animatronics, real practical effects. Looks better than most of the fucking bullshit I see that excuses for effects today in films. It's Pumpkinhead. Beautiful. 1988, currently on Kanopy. And that's it. So there is a short run, but sweet on Kanopy. I am just digging the shit out of that, folks. I mean, it ain't no joke, folks. It's Kanopy. Good Lord. Now, of course, it doesn't. What the fucking shit-ass weed is going on now? Oh, I see. Those buggering ball sacks. All right. Yeah, that's on there. That's what, yeah, good. Right, see. Right. Nice. All right, guys. But let me just do something really quick and leave you with this. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to leave you with. What the bloody hell? I guess I'll leave you with this.
The countdown to terror has begun. Billionaire astronaut Eli Cologne became the first man on Mars, but something went horribly wrong. Infected by an alien organism on the Red Planet, he returned to Earth a crazed, savage monster with an unquenchable thirst for human flesh. This very special signed and numbered First Man on Mars Blu-ray is limited to 300 copies and includes a fantastic mini poster insert, which is signed and numbered along with the Blu-ray disc. Plus, for a limited time, get a free Haunted Thrills playing card with your purchase. Haunted Thrills is my latest film, a documentary about pre-code horror comic books. And these playing cards were made for promotion of the film. Offer good while supplies last. And that's not all. First Man on Mars movie props giveaway. You can win one of 2 great props from the film. The customized screen-worn space helmet or the custom astronaut Snoopy cap, both worn by astronaut-turned-monster Eli Cologne in the film First Man on Mars. Both items come with a certificate of authenticity signed by me, the producer and director, Mike Lydon. For further details, visit HorrorAnthologyMovies.com. First Man on Mars 2023 Limited Edition Blu-ray. Get yours now.
Hells to the yes. Now that link is in the chat, folks. All right. Let's get back to the chat now that I mentioned it. Let's take a look. Michael Taylor says, I want to start buying Alter Ego and back issue. Yep. Well, Bud Plant's a good way to go. You might be able to find some lots on eBay too. Taylor also says there's a lot of interesting Dave Stevens content on YouTube. Yep, sure is. Jesus Christ. Taylor, as I was scrolling YouTube, I came across a channel called Dr. Durant's Sanctimonium. Dr. Durant's Sanctum. He has incredible vintage monster collectibles. Good. That's just great. I thought Kill the Irishman, was that the name of that thing? That was Ray Stevenson. And he was fucking great in it. That sounds right. Kill the Irishman. I think that was it. Chad M. Willy's Wonderland is great. Chad M. He's seen the movie. Yay! Nicolas Cage doesn't speak the whole film. Yes, I heard about that. And he's, Nicolas Cage is just a presence. That's what he is. I mean, he can act like nobody's business. There's no doubt about that. He's fantastic. I consider him one of the great American actors. But he's so great that he doesn't need to say a word. It's just an absolute fact. He is one of those dudes. And, you guys know that Nicolas Cage collected pre-code horror comics and crime comics, right? He had a huge collection until he ran into apparently some tax issues and he had to sell, I don't know, a large part of his collection from what I understand. Eric says, yes, Pumpkinhead was really good, yeah. Werewolf says, I see you are over 1K subs. Congrats. Thank you, Werewolf, by lunchtime. Michael Taylor says, there's plenty of sexy human flesh for Oh, my God. Eric. Oh, yeah, congrats on hitting. Oh, well, thank you, Eric. Apex is on the scene. Shadowhawk says, oh yeah, that Nick Cage movie is a fun time. Well, I've got it on Kanopy, and I'm going to watch that motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, let's scroll on down here. I think this is where, now look, dudes, I gotta say, once again, it's Tubi, and Tubi is wonderfully psychotic. And I say that in the sense that they, as we will see, okay, they run the gamut from the sleaziest fucking 1960s and 70s B movie trash, almost softcore porn. I swear to God, and just we'll get to that in a second. To, like, you know, of course, A-list movies, you know, as we will also see momentarily. But this first one, 1968, Confessions of a Psycho Cat. What the living hell is going on? It is like, I don't know, I would say 80% nudity and sexual situations. They call it a horror thriller. I call it a softcore porn film. Confessions of a Psycho Cat. I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but that's what it is. So there you go. I mean, it's almost hilarious. It's so ridiculous. In its its sleaziness. I must say I was kind of amused. It was just so ridiculously over the top. Now, Schoolgirls in Chains is a much higher level film. 1973. Oh, yes, it's Schoolgirls in Chains. Oh, my God. This exploitation classic follows two psychotic brothers who kidnap women, chain them in their basement for their own pleasure. Yes, there you go. Yeah, that's basically what's going on with Schoolgirls in Chains. And yeah, so there you go. Directed by Don Jones, that's a familiar name. Yeah, of course. Now I remember he did Sweater Girls in 1978. It's the same guy, Don Jones. Why, yes, I'm known for Schoolgirls in Chains and Sweater Girls. Okay. Now, this one I watched a few weeks ago, Lower Learning, 2008. A burned out vice principal has one day to save an elementary school filled with drunk, lazy, or psychotic teachers before it's shut down for good. Now, it's a film that I thought it was pretty amusing. Rob Corddry is always pretty damn funny. God, he's done some great shit in the world of comedy, as you guys may. I mean, look, man, Hot Tub Time Machine. That fucking thing is hard to beat. And I mean, just a ton of movies kind of like that. But Rob Corddry, he's just fantastic. Jason Biggs, of course, and Eva Longoria head off the leads, the principals in this film. And I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, if you're just looking for a funny comedy, there you go. Lower Learning. Ukraine on Fire is not a funny comedy. It is Oliver Stone's documentary on the conflict in Ukraine and how it came about. So people that think that Putin is just evil need to really watch this fucking movie and find out exactly what's going on with the conflict, how it came about. and the forces, the real forces behind it. Ukraine on Fire 2016, highly recommended. Strangled 2015. I saw this movie, and actually it's pretty good.
Drive Time has a big announcement.
I forget. I want to say that it was.
An even
yeah, it
way
is.
to buy a
God
car.
damn you,
Make the deal
motherfucker!
yourself.
Sorry about that. It just, these fucking ads just piss me the fuck off. It's Hungarian. Based on true events, a serial killer stalks prey in the streets of 1960s Hungary as a framed innocent man's only hope is a determined detective. There you go. It's Hungarian. Strangled. Based on a true story. Wither, another foreign film, but with really great fucking Jesus Christ, with great creatures. This fucking thing has got some awesome creatures in it. When Ida and Albin meet their friends for a holiday in the woodlands, they have no idea that an evil awaits them underneath the floorboards. Yes, this is I don't know what it is, Swedish or maybe it's Norwegian takeoff. I mean, I don't want to call it exactly a ripoff of the Evil Dead, but it's an Evil Dead like film. But man, the creatures are awesome. God, the special makeup effects in this are just wickedly good. Highly recommended. 2013 Wither. And they added Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead. The Story of National Lampoon. 2016 documentary on National Lampoon. Now, as you guys may or may not know, National Lampoon is where heavy metal magazines sprang from. The editor of National Lampoon went to Europe, discovered Metal Hurlant, fell in love with it, came back to the United States and said, fuck it, we're making heavy metal, which will be the U.S. English version of Metal Hurlant. So, there you go. There's a bit of a connection with sci-fi and fantasy. And of course, the movies, all of the freaking National Lampoon movies, of which we're going to take a look at one tonight. But then again, there's 1988's Hell Comes to Frogtown. Roddy Piper, folks, right here. Action, comedy, sci-fi. In a post-apocalyptic world dominated by mutant humanoid frogs, the survival of the human race falls on women finding the few remaining fertile men. And of course, you have Julius LeFleur, Roddy Piper, William Smith. It's a weird flick. I don't know what else to say about it. It's kind of funny. There's some funny elements to it. Nah. All right. Oops. What we got here? Apex says, I appreciate Nicolas Cage even more in this current Hollywood woke climate. Yes. Happy 1K subs, Mike. Thank you, Apex. I totally agree with you. Cage just is one of those dudes that doesn't go for that bullshit. I mean, he's done his thing. He doesn't have to bow to anybody, which is hilarious. And he can do these movies like Willy's Wonderland, and people love it. Let's see here. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Hi, Shadowhawk. Shadowhawk Talk says Apex Comics Fembat coming soon. Apex also says Psycho Cat. Yep. If you want some sleazorama, watch that goddamn film. Jesus Christ. Michael Taylor says Ukraine on Fire. It looks interesting. It's great. Great freaking documentary. Tubi needs an option to turn. Yeah, you see, Chad, they used to have that. When you'd go to a page, it didn't do autoplay, but now every time it's autoplay. And you can't turn it off. You have to literally stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the page, you just put it on pause so you don't have to watch it. But it used to be that an image just came up, and then if you had the option, of course, to push play. Now they're just fucking putting, it's just autoplay. What a bloody hoax. It's a bloody hoax, I tell you. Michael Taylor says, yeah, it's bad enough that we have ads on Tubi. Well, it's free, Michael Taylor. I mean, they're not giving it away, if you know what I mean. And maybe you do. Michael Taylor says, I'm sure that you saw Drunk, Stone, Brilliant, Dead. If so, how? I've not seen the whole thing. I've only seen certain sections of it, like the Split Beaver section, which was rather entertaining. Just kidding. There actually is a Split Beaver section, though, in an issue of National Lampoon, though. And it's really quite juicy, if you know what I mean. And I think that you may do. You may know that. Michael Taylor says Cage owned a copy of Action 1. Yeah, he was a big comic guy. Sure was. It surely was. No. Okay, now check it out. This is National Lampoon's Awesomest Maximus. You haven't seen this fucking movie. Where the hell have you been all of your life? Okay? Good God. 2011. It's oh boy, it's kind of a combination of the 300 and Helen of Troy. That's basically what they kind of merged those two stories together. And there you go. It is incredibly offensive. It's hilarious. This medieval era farce flips the sword and sandal genre on its head with a gladiatorial spoof worthy of the National Lampoon stamp. It's way more offensive than, for instance, American Pie. Let's put it that way. Way more. And it's really fucking hilarious. Oh, they still have Kung Fu and Titties. I love it. That 2013 comedy fantasy film. That's Kung Fu and Titties, in case anybody's interested. But yeah, highly recommended. Legend of Awesomest Maximus. If you couldn't already tell, of course, that's Will Sasso as the star in the starring role. Rip Torn is also in this. Adam Devine. It's a really good comedy cast, but Will Sasso is just so fucking funny. If you ever watched him, like, for instance, on Mad TV, he's just so great. He's just really one of those comedians that he can do a lot of stuff. He can do a lot of stuff, and he's definitely great in this. Awesomest Maximus. Recommended, folks, unless you're easily offended, in which case I highly recommend it to you. Okay? That's what I'm saying. 2019 Hoaxed. Woo! Man, Tubi may get called by the FBI with this shit. I'm telling you right now. Good Lord. Hoaxed. 2019. This look at the consequences of media misinformation features interviews from commentators who have been accused of spreading fake news themselves. Mike Cernovich is in this, Alex Jones, Jordan B. Peterson, Scott Adams, Stefan Molyneux. I'm telling you, now Tubi's got some balls for putting out Hoaxed, okay? I have not seen the entire film. I've only watched clips that were presented on YouTube back in the day. So I'm looking forward to watching this. It is new on Tubi. And you might find it really eye-opening, okay? Hoaxed. Next up is Looper. Now, I know some of you guys have seen this fucking movie.
How long does it take to close the deal?
Okay, it's 2012. Now, this is, of course, Bruce Willis, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Emily Blunt. Ryan Johnson, I think he's that you little motherfucker. There you go. Ryan Johnson, I believe he did the American Horror Story, some of the American Horror Story series. Looper, 2012. In a world where time travel has been perfected, the government sends assassins back in time, okay, to eliminate the most dangerous criminals who ever lived. Now, can you spot the fucking problem with that? Yes, it is the time travel paradox, folks. The most dangerous criminals who ever lived have already killed the people in your timeline. You can't go back and they can't unkill people, okay? It's already happened. If you go back and kill them, you're just changing another timeline. You cannot change your own timeline. I don't know what the argument is in this fucking movie, but time travel films drive me insane because they think that they can go back in time and actually change something. But in reality, they're not changing their own reality. They're splitting off into another dimension, creating yet another reality moving through time, not their own. So they can't, nothing good happens, you know. So what? It's just kind of the most ludicrous concept. It's like, oh, well, those people never existed and they never killed all those people. Well, that's great. No, that's not, that doesn't happen. That's not the thing of time travel. So in any case, it's a pile of crap. Let's move on. And, well, of course, now this is not a pile of crap. And this happens to be one of the classic horror sci-fi, I would say sci-fi horror films. People would also call it classic horror. As well, it's 1982. You know, they also have the original Thing from Another World on Tubi as well. So you can watch them back to back. It even gets better, though, folks. It even gets better because what I did, I was so pleased that they brought back The Thing from 1982. And then I looked and I saw they have The Thing from 2011. Oh, yes. Now, this is the prequel. Highly recommended. It is nowhere near as good as John Carpenter's The Thing. However, it's very good. Okay, let's put things into context here. John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the greatest horror films ever made. This one is just very good. That's it. It's just it stacks up to a lot. I think it's a pretty good prequel, you know, but if you're going up against John Carpenter, forget it. Just fucking forget it, man. You know, it's not gonna, if you're trying to compare the two, apples for apples, no, ain't gonna happen. You know, the filmmakers can only hope to do a good job where you watch it and you're like, oh, that was a good, you know, prequel. That makes total sense. Whatever. And I think that's what they did with The Thing 2011. So, of course, naturally, I don't know, this is like a week or 2 weeks ago. I watched this one. It's kind of weird saying this, but The Thing 2011, which is the prequel to Carpenter's The Thing 1982. And it sets up the 1982 story, Carpenter's adaptation, and I think it sets it up really well. Once again, it's, God, you watch this one and then watch Carpenter's and you're like, fucking hell. Carpenter was just, it was one of his masterpieces, the 1982 Thing. Now, that is not to say, and I think I've said this before, they also have The Thing from Another World on here. It's not there, but they have The Thing from Another World, the original 1950s film based upon John W. Campbell's Who Goes There. Highly recommended. It's fantastic. I love that film. All three of these films are, I would definitely recommend them. This one I recommend, it's very good. Let's put it that way. It's just not anywhere near as good as John Carpenter's The Thing as far as tension, suspense, setup. There's just really nothing that comes close to Carpenter's film. It's kind of in a class by itself. I don't know what else to say. That's pretty much it. But it is, if you haven't seen the prequel, I recommend it because it gives you a very good idea as to what is happening at the beginning of Carpenter's The Thing. Why is that dog running through the snow? And why are the Norwegians in the helicopter shooting at the dog? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. This film is entirely about that. So that is pretty much it there. Then there's Waterworld, one of the most expensive fucking action films ever made. 1995. And I think they lost their ass.
Drive time has a
Motherfucker. I think they lost their ass on Waterworld. It was a complete failure at the box office, and they just lost, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars. It was just a catastrophe. Yeah, I thought it was all right. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was great or anything, but it was entertaining. Let's put it that way. Hold on one second. Oh, fuck this. Good Lord. All right. But Waterworld, I'm sure you guys have seen it. On the other hand, Army of Darkness, 1992. Oh, I'm so glad they got this. It's just such a hilariously entertaining film to watch. What can be said? It's the way it went, right? The first and second films were largely played for horror, with a little bit of comedy. This is just like wall-to-wall horror comedy. And no doubt about it. They just completely, and it's funny as hell. It's just so hilarious. Bruce Campbell is just fantastic. All of them. Bridget Fonda, of course, is in this a bit. Sam Raimi directing, of course. And they've got it. It's on Tubi, friends. Right here, man. It's now on the Tubi. Gary Newman, Android in La La Land. This is a new documentary, 2016.
How long does it take to close a deal?
Oh, would you shut the hell up? There. How's that for length of closing deal? Okay, Gary Newman, Android in La La Land, 2016. The godfather of electronic pop music embarks on a trip to California in search of a new life in the sun and new challenges in Hollywood. Now, the thing about Newman, I don't know, electronic pop music, okay, maybe. If you're familiar with his early stuff, like, I cannot recommend Replicas enough. Get that album, because Gary Newman based that entire album around Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, aka Blade Runner. And it is a stunning album. Replicas, Gary Newman. And that was before Cars and all that shit. And there's a lot of guitar. There's guitar. It's not just electronic. He did use, of course, a lot of electronics in his music, but there was a lot of traditional stuff too in there. So I think he got a little more synth oriented, more into like the Cars time with the pleasure principle and all that shit. But yeah, he's also a pilot, and he was actually caught. I forget who got him, and I want to say, I swear to God, I want to say it was the North Koreans that caught him. His airplane went down. They got him and they tortured him. They did let him go. Obviously, he lived, but he's got this other story to tell. On the side of his aviation tales and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this one, no doubt about that. Gary Newman, Android in La La Land. Let's take a look. I know there's a few people who have chimed in since then. Ryan Johnson killed Star Wars. He did, didn't he? Am I correct, though? Isn't Ryan Johnson the same dude? Is he the same guy that, am I wrong? Did he direct some American Horror Story? A few of those seasons? Or am I incorrect? I want to say yes. And I saw a couple of those early American Horror Story seasons were pretty good. But then some woke crap started creeping in until later. I just stopped watching it. Let's just put it that way. Looper was meh. Yeah, I thought it was pretty meh. Seriously. Just like for such a big budget film, I mean, there's no excuse. Michael Taylor, Bruce Willis has dementia. Chad says The Thing, face, and red heart. Okay. Can't do that. Eric says The Thing among my personal top 10 favorite movies. Yes. I'm assuming you're talking about the Carpenter film, and I totally agree. Although the original Thing from Another World is way up there, it's maybe in my top 20. Whereas The Thing, Carpenter's The Thing's in my top 10. Let's put it that way. They're kind of close, you know. Army of Darkness. Eric says, yes, Army of Darkness as well. Yeah, nice one. Yes, nice. Eric also says, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Oh, yes, she's in that. She also played the sexy cheerleader in Death Proof. Yes. And she's good in that Thing, in The Thing 2011, the prequel. I thought she was quite, the acting is, I have no complaints in that. You know, look, it's a very well-made film. You're watching it, you get the complete idea as to what happened to the Norwegians leading up to the John Carpenter film. It satisfies that, I think, to a large degree. The acting's good. You know, they did add CGI effects. There's this whole fucking thing with ADI where they were going to do all practical, but then the studio execs, of course, with their heads up their butts, were like, yeah, now we need some CGI in there. So they took a lot of the practical effects out that ADI did. Tom Woodruff and Alec Gillis. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know, it didn't help matters for Waterworld when actress Jean Triplehorn kept bitching about her experience filming the movie. It was an all right movie, but yeah, that always stuck. Yeah, God, I just, you know, there's certain. Let's put it this way, folks. There's certain actors, and in Waterworld, of course, it's Kevin Costner. Then you got fucking like Tom Cruise. You got these actors where they always play the best of whatever the hell they are, right? Here he is. He's the best pool player in the world. Here he is. He's the best secret agent in the world. Here he is. He's the best mutant fish man in the world. You know, where they're just all like the greatest character. That's how they set up these fucking movies for these actors, which just pump up their egos. And they're like, yeah, you're going to be the best astronaut that ever lived, or whatever the fuck. And that's what they do. That's with these movies. And Waterworld comes across that way. It's just like, oh God, this guy again. Why don't they just give him wings and have him fly around? Jesus Christ. Michael Taylor, I saw Waterworld in the theater, didn't like it. Yes. Well, I wouldn't have liked it. I would have liked it less in the theater, Michael Taylor, because that means I probably would have paid for it, which would have been a little painful. Eric says, I didn't know that regarding Gary Newman. Whoa, yeah, he is a pilot. Well, that was the whole thing, Werewolf, is that he may have been caught on the border. He was like flying in South Korea. There was some kind of border deal, and he went over. You know, it's one of those weird deals, and they got him. So, of course, they're going to get him on the border. Shadowhawk Talks, I believe it was the first few seasons. Okay. Michael Taylor, this must be something new because yeah, they're Tubi's doing something. Tubi's doing something. They seem like fast ads, though. I don't know. I don't know. Werewolf says, I wonder if Kevin Costner puts that in his resume. I'm the best mutant fishman in the world. Yeah. I would say fucking A, man. You know, I was the best mutant fishman, damn it. Ah! You know, I could see him. I could see him now. Oh, God, the horror. The complete horror. In any case, folks, without further ado, check it out. Solaris. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. Dun-dun-dun. Solaris. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's Solaris. 2002. Now, look, I don't mean to make fun of this film because I like it, actually. You
Tips to help protect yourself and others. Together we can help our...
God, that is just really annoying. 2002, folks. Solaris. This is a remake. How should I say? It's an American version of Solaris by Tarkovsky, the Russian science fiction writer. Solaris was made into a film in the 70s in Russia, and it was a big hit. And so Steven Soderbergh, for fuck's sake, was like, yeah, I like that movie. I think I'm going to make an American, an English version of the film. And I like this. It's really quite cool. It's very moody and atmospheric science fiction. There is definitely a level of mystery to it. It's pretty bizarre. Aboard a lonely space station orbiting a planet, crew members start to experience strange phenomena, including eerie visitors who seem all too human. Of course, George Clooney is in this, Jeremy Davies, a ton of people. Directed by Steven Soderbergh. And if you're not familiar with this guy, they have clean flicks. That's it. That's all the Soderbergh. But man, I don't know if you've ever seen no, fuck off. I will kill them. Yeah, it's really getting annoying now. In any case, folks, yeah, I guess I could just mute my fucking computer. Of course, then if I do that, no, fuck that. In any case, check it out. Okay, Steven Soderbergh also made this. I mean, he's made a ton of movies. Really good. He did that film Contagion, about a pandemic. I mean, really actual deadly pandemic that sweeps the world and kills millions upon millions of people. The fuck was in that? Matt Damon was in that. I don't know. In any case, I thought that was really good. He also made a film called Haywire. If you ever get a chance, check out Haywire. Gina Carano stars in that fucking movie, kicking ass and taking names. Holy shit, it's such a great freaking movie. It's great for action, suspense, international intrigue, everything. It's called Haywire. Highly recommended. Gina Carano is fucking hot in this movie. Haywire. Holy shit, man. So, unfortunately, that is not on Tubi. It may be on Tubi, though. They may bring it back. I think it was on Tubi before. Now, folks, this is John Carpenter again, 1995. Village of the Damned. Shut up. There we go. And I like it. I like his version of this. Is based upon a John Wyndham novel, I believe from the 1950s or 1960s, called The Midwich Cuckoos. And of course, it was made into a classic science fiction film in the 1950s, Village of the Damned, and then they did a sequel called Children of the Damned. Village of the Damned is far better. I highly recommend the 1950s film. But this is also good. I love this. I love John Carpenter's his take on Village of the Damned. Great cast. Christopher Reeve. Excellent. Kirstie Alley, Linda Kozlowski, Michael Paré, Mark Hamill in maybe one of his best roles of all time. Okay. And it's the classic, it maintains the same, how should I say, basically the same I shouldn't say the same, similar screenplay aspects to the original 1950s film, because they not only adapted this from the book, they also adapted it from the original Sterling Silliphant screenplay of the 1950s, or yeah, it was like late 1950s, I want to say. I don't know, somewhere in there. So it's got some of those aspects to it. An unseen evil force impregnates the unsuspecting women of a tiny village, who all give birth on the same day to a race of all-powerful aliens. There you go. Village of the Damned. Recommended. Another strange one. This is a weird one. Grace Point. It's a series. It's a one-season series, because it's a murder in a small town. And David Tennant, I don't know if you're familiar with David Tennant. He played a great Doctor Who, and he's really a good actor. And he's quite good in this. I have no complaints. I've seen the entire series. Okay, there's a few red herrings. Yes. There's a few plot holes. Yes. But overall, it holds together really well, and it's actually pretty damned interesting. Grace Point. There's big secrets in a small California town. When a young boy's body is found on the beach, and the media frenzy affects the lives of its residents. Yes. There you go. Grace Point. It is on TUBI now. And, much to my pleasant surprise, Red Dwarf. Holy fucking shit. Folks, Red Dwarf in all of its British glory. 1988. It is the entire series. I believe it is all 10 freaking seasons. 11 seasons, sorry. It's 11 seasons of pure joy. Sci-fi comedy joy. If you haven't seen this fucking thing, you got to see it. If I don't know what to compare it to. You could almost compare it to like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I guess. Something like that. It's pretty wacky. A hologram, a sentient computer, a mutant cat, and the last remaining human in the universe travel together through space in this zany sci-fi comedy. 11 freaking seasons. Just some great stuff. Highly entertaining. Some hilarious science fiction concepts. Like actually good sci-fi concepts, of course, with this comedic overtone. I just love the way they did this show. I cannot wait to rewatch this entire freaking thing, man. That's going to take a while. I mean, you got 11 seasons, 6 episodes a season. So you got, 66 episodes. Woohoo! Red Dwarf. It's so great. I mean, what the hell, folks? Let's see what we got. Yeah. Michael Taylor says 2 other movies I was disappointed in when I saw them in the theater was The Green Hornet and Starsky and Hutch. Oh, God. Good Lord, man. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Red Dwarf is gold. Would anybody like any toast? Oh, God. It's so hilarious. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Of course you are British by origin. And yeah, this is another one. Hey, look, Red Dwarf and fucking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The British really have it kind of angled on the great sci-fi comedy series of all time? Pretty much. I'm going to say that's a thing right there. Werewolf says there are 12 seasons. Yeah, I did see that special from 2020. I did not, as a matter of fact, I don't think I've seen the 11th and 12th season of Red Dwarf, believe it or not. But at least they have up to season 11, which is good. Maybe they'll add the 12th season. We shall see. But in any case, folks, that wraps up our show for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this trip through the TUBI and KANOPY lands of your imagination and all that shit. And until next week. Now, look, it's possible. It's possible. Next week, I may have a rather well-known comic book artist on the scene here live on the show. We're going to find out. We are going to, I'll know, as a matter of fact, I'll put an ad out when I drop the thing on next Wednesday, because I won't know for sure until then, you know. But it's going to, if that happens, it's going to be a good one. No doubt about that. So hopefully I'll have good news for you by Wednesday. So in any case, guys, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.